So anyway, that's how you expand a logarithmic function, by just using the rules and the powers and everything to do that. Now we're going to move on and we're going to talk about graphing. Now I kind of touched on the graphs earlier at the very beginning, but I want to kind of illustrate how you graph logarithmic functions. So the best way to do this, I found, is to kind of create a table for yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and write this equation up here. Y equals log 4 of x. Now, in order to kind of simplify this a bit, I'm going to put everything to the base of 4. We get rid of this log, and I'm just going to have 4 to the power of y equals x. So in order to kind of find the points that I'm going to plot, I'm just going to put some, normal y values here in this table, and I'm just going to kind of multiply it out. So 4 to the negative 1 is going to be 1/4, 4 to the 0 is going to be 1, 4 to the 1 is going to be 1, and 4 to the 2 is going to be 16. So if I were to plot this out on a graph, which I'm not going to take the time to make a bunch of etch marks and do it for you, but basically the gist of how it would look is like this, right? And you feel free, if you want to pause the video, you want to plot it out yourself, you can. And here's another question, actually, just in case you want to graph it by yourself. This one's a little trickier. We're going to kind of talk about a little bit of it for just a second. One thing to note with this one. Now, in the last one, we didn't have anything inside the parentheses, and we didn't have anything on the end outside of the parentheses. It's important to note that these are very important. What these do is they shift our graph completely. So anything on the outside of the parentheses that's an addition or subtraction of a normal number is going to be a shift up or down. So in this case, we have a shift of up 3. So that means our whole graph would actually move up 3 spaces, right? And then this one on the inside is actually going to shift our graph either to the right or to the left. So we're going to have so a horizontal shift to the right or to the left. And in this case, since it's -1, it's inside the parentheses. So we're going to do the inverse of what it is. So instead of going back to the left one like you'd think, you actually are going to go to the right one. So that's going to shift our graph up 3 and over 1. Now, it's the same thing when you want to graph it out with the table. You can plug in the values. All you have to do is just kind of separate this part out. Use this, y equals log 2, so you can do that. 2, 2, cancel. 2 to the y equals x. 2 to the y equals x. And then you can just kind of plug in the values and put them in while adding in this +3 and over 1. So instead of starting from your origin and plotting your points, you start from over 1, up 3, and count that as your origin instead. Hold on, we're going to move on. Okay, so to kind of conclude this presentation, what I'm going to do is, using everything we've learned and all the things we've done, I want to just write out some equations that you might see and kind of see if you guys are able to solve them. So I'm going to do one with you, and then I'm going to put another one on the board and have you guys pause, and you'll see if you can solve it. So here's this first one, and I'll show you how we can use logs to solve this easily. So first, what we're going to do is get rid of 7 on both sides. So we're going to be left with 4 of 2 times 3x, or 2 to the 3x, equals 3. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is divide both sides by 4. So then we have 2 to the 3x equals 3 over 4. Now what we can do is, since we've got this 2 on the base, what we need to do is we need to get this x into out of the exponent. It needs to be in kind of just like the middle, you know what I mean, in the middle ground. So equals 3 to the 4th. So in order to do that, we're actually going to put this all to the log of 2. So if we do that, actually it doesn't work like that, but we're going to put it all to the log of 2, and then this is going to cancel, and then this is going to become log 2 of 3/4, right? So then we have 3x equals log 2 of 3/4. And from this, we can divide by 3. And there's your answer, right? So we use the log to help us solve for this equation and find out what x is, right? So I'm going to put up another equation for you guys. This one might be kind of tricky. 2 log 2x minus 8 equals 6. So if you guys want to go ahead and pause the video, you can try to solve that for yourselves, and I'll be right back with the answer. Okay, so here's your answer. If you got x equals 128, then you'd be right. If you want to go ahead and pause, you can look at the steps I did to kind of solve this out. But that's going to conclude the video. I hope you learned how to kind of use logarithms and kind of the purpose of them in math. So yeah,